Hi, Signal Online. We're here with Shelley Jackson, the first writer in the semester's Visiting Writer series. Now, you graduated with a degree in art from Stanford and then went on to get an MFA in creative writing from Brown. What made you go on to continue getting, the creative writing degree as opposed to just sticking with the art?
Well, I've always wanted to do both. In fact, when I was at Stanford, I was writing as well, taking writing workshops. It's been actually really important aspect of my thinking about my career to have my legs straddling that boundary rather than choosing one side or the other, even though I've gotten considerable pressure over the years to kind of declare myself for one side or the other as if it were a sports match.
Okay. And you're well known for non-traditional story formats like the Skins Project and then Patchwork Girl, which is a hypertext. Is it your art background that draws you to this type of project, or?
Well, I would say more that it's my interest in kind of multidimensional works that made me both an artist and a writer. Mm-hmm. The fact that I am kind of fascinated in the multiple possibilities of what a piece of writing or a piece of art can be is really the source of both decisions,
And then I just want to take a minute to actually talk about the Skins Project because it's one that I personally find really, really interesting. Mm-hmm. On your website, you say that it's a story published on the skin of 2,095 volunteers. I think you just maybe give viewers a little bit more of a background on it and how you came up with the idea to begin with.
Yeah, well, it's I initially had the idea to publish a story on skin at a time when I was thinking about how to find formal structures that would speak directly to the content of a story. And I was working on a story about skin at that time, and it struck me that, of course, we already publish on skin in a certain sense in the form of tattoos, and also that in the history of writing, paper was originally made out of skin, not usually of people, obviously, but of baby cows and things like that. So that it was a really natural form, actually, but one that I thought hadn't been exploited for literature before. But I thought, you can't write a very long story in the form of a tattoo on skin. Who's going to sit still for it, and who has that much body space? But then it occurred to me that, of course, I could break it down into individual words. And that's what, in fact, I did. I put out a call for volunteers for 2,095 people to come forward to get one word or word plus a piece of punctuation out of this story called Skin. And they started signing up in droves to my amazement.
And you haven't completed the project, right? You're still accepting applications?
That's right. I have plenty of applicants, but I still have spaces open.
Okay. And then finally, just what did you read growing up, and what are you reading now? I mean, has it changed because you write in this sort of more, I don't want to say abstract, but not exactly traditional way? Do you read a lot of traditional authors?
Yeah, I still do. Growing up, I was a huge reader of fantasy and also of historical fiction. Really, almost any book that was not about reality as it stood was interesting to me. And even though those books were narratively traditional, I do feel like in some way they provided the basis for my interest now in much wilder forms, because it's really the same drive to see the world transformed that motivates me.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.